provided by Thomas Allgaier and Freinis, based on the most relevant LinkedIn posts about go-to-market in calendar weeks 32 and 33. Freinis is a B2B market research partner, helping ICT and tech providers identify niche channel partners by compressing the full journey from identification to qualified first meeting into 4 to 5 weeks. You can find more info in the description.
Right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the top go-to-market trends across LinkedIn. This is specifically for B2B strategic marketing professionals.
Yeah, and the overarching theme that we're seeing in the data right now is pretty wild.
It really is.
Because GTM is constantly treated as this, just a launch event or just another name for the sales function.
Yeah.
But the data proves it's actually an incredibly interconnected system.
Yeah, exactly. It's a massive system. Yeah. And I think we need to start by dismantling that idea that GTM is just sales or just a product launch date.
Right.
Because so many companies confuse the two. Like Klaus Workington shared this perfect example looking at the North Kite and Foil fall and winter collection.
Oh, yeah, the kite example.
Right. So a launch is just the date the product goes live. But the GTM for that, it's a massive cross-functional process. It spans product development, storytelling, and the entire commercial network.
Well, and it has to, right? Edward Golba actually proved this in the fintech space.
Okay.
He was working on a product that generated $4.6 million in year one revenue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that didn't come from just launching a shiny new feature. It came from building sales enablement directly into the GTM plan.
I mean, in fintech, the buyers are going to have intense security questions.
Exactly. Compliance, security, you name it. And if the sales rep says, let me get back to you, the momentum just dies.
Right.
But by equipping sales on day one, you build trust.
So Peter Flower and Brendan Short make this point too. They argue that GTM is not just a rebrand of the sales department.
No, not at all.
It spans marketing, sales, SDRs, customer success, product, pricing partnerships, all as one interdependent system.
Yeah, Amit Deshpande has a great definition for it. He calls it the commercial operating system.
The commercial operating system. I like that.
Right. It converts a validated offer into predictable revenue.
But wait, Susie T. Tromberger adds that this repeatable science has to be built really early on.
Yes.
You can't just wait until you have, say, 5 million in ARR to figure it out.
No, because by then, it's too late. The system's already broken.
So if GTM is the entire operating system, then treating it like a launch it's basically like buying a Ferrari.
Oh, I love this analogy.
Right. You buy a Ferrari and you only ever turn the ignition on, but you never actually put it in gear and drive it.
Exactly. You're just sitting in the driveway making noise.
Yeah.
And putting it in gear means understanding where the buyer actually is. Avinash Mohanty points out that GTM starts by knowing exactly when and where customers make decisions.
Not just at launch time.
Right. Not at launch. And Rekhi Lamhouri says that your plans have to center around the buyer's first moment of trust.
Yeah, the moment of trust.
Yeah, not the demo, but when they actually trust you. And the timeline on this can be crazy. Greg Carman gave a pretty stark warning for deep tech founders.
Yeah, the quantum computing one.
Right. If you have a quantum computer that ships in 2028, your commercial engine has to be completely built by early 2027.
You need a full year.
A full year to educate the market.
So how do you even know if you're ready? We have some frameworks here. Vladimir Malek breaks it down into 8 dimensions of GTM readiness.
8 dimensions.
Yeah, moving from market evidence all the way to enablement. And Marty Kaufman has a diagnostic with 5 sequenced blocks.
Oh, right. So you have to lock in the context and the audience blocks before you ever debate what marketing channels to use.
Exactly. Hassan Mansour connects this all into 7 links, from messaging down to operating rhythm. And his point is that these links set your ultimate growth ceiling.
Because if your weakest link breaks, the whole thing crashes.
Sharman Stiles summarizes it really well. She says GTM is just business-wide alignment.
Yeah. But so if GTM is a connected system, that means if you feed the system the wrong data, it breaks.
Oh, absolutely.
And the absolute worst data a company can feed its system is an imaginary target customer.
Yes. Let's talk about that. The reality of targeting versus the fantasy of targeting.
It's a huge problem.
Christine Castro points out that buying committees are now, 6 to 13 people?
Yeah, massive committees.
But companies are still targeting 1 or 2 people based on who they want to sell to, not who actually has to sign off.
And Dally Wester proved how dangerous this is.
Oh, the audit example.
Right. He scored 24 existing customers for a company on actual fit. Things like support tickets, time to close.
And what did they find?
Out of 24 customers, 9 of them were worth more than the other 15 combined.
Wow. 9 were worth more than 15.
Yeah. because those 15 bad fit customers, they drain resources, they complain, they churn.
And that builds up what Sangram Vauger calls GTM debt.
GTM debt, exactly.
He talked about this $19 million company that just stalled completely.
Just hit a wall.
Hit a wall because marketing, sales, and CS all had totally different playbooks.
They didn't agree on anything.
Right. They couldn't agree on their most profitable customer. It compounds quietly, just like technical debt.
Cody LaHost exposed this in a really funny but terrifying way.
What did he do?
He had a leadership team sit down and independently write down their target customer on a piece of paper.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Every single executive had a different answer.
That is terrifying.
It really is.
But it shows why discipline is so hard. Anastasia Lennox says that real segmentation is a refusal that costs you something.
Yeah, the discipline of subtraction.
Great. Like Yeti giving up the cheap cooler aisle in the store so they could dominate the premium market. If you aren't saying no to revenue, you don't have a segment.
And Remy Piazza notes that this completely changes how we view market size.
Ooh, the TAM versus TRM thing.
Yeah, everyone says they have a $10 billion total addressable market, but really it's often just a $300 million total relevant market.
Right.
And debating tactics is just useless until you discipline the market down to that 300 million.
So how do you discipline it down? Nikki Doggart gives 5 tests for this focus: value, opportunity, moat, strengths, and repeatability.
You have to pass all 5.
All 5. But the problem is, once you define it, it doesn't just stay static. Kuhn Stam warns about silent ICP drift.
Oh yeah, things change.
Your assumptions need a last checked date. And Dr. Ania Kay adds that your strategy only actually changes when the old CRM rules stop running.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Yeah, if you announce a new target, but your CRM is still scoring the old leads the same way, nothing changed.
Because the system is still running the old playbook. You need documented playbooks with review cadences. Barry Rodriguez says those have to replace gut instinct channel bets.
Okay, so speaking of gut instincts, let's talk about brand. Because Louis Fernandez and Reggie James pulled some Sixth Sense data that is wild. 95% of buyers are not in market.
95%.
Yeah, so brand is actually commercial infrastructure. It gets you on the day one shortlist before they ever talk to sales.
Which is crucial, especially now. And as Ben Shura points out, that a new objection has popped up. The build versus buy objection.
Oh, right. People wanting to build it themselves.
Yeah, it tripled to 7.2% of deals. Buyers have so many tools they think they can just build the solution internally.
And you can't just discount your way past that. Maja Vauger warns that underpricing is a fatal mistake. Unpaid usage is not product market fit.
No, it's just a free hobby.
Right. Bill Stathopoulos built a 7-part ICP matrix to fix this, and it got sales capped into $3 million in ARR. But we really need to distinguish between PMF and GTM fit.
Yes. Gila Lauterbach makes this distinction. Product market fit is product pull, right? The users love it.
But GTM fit is different.
Exactly. GTM fit is buyer-led momentum. It's when champions are advancing deals internally without you constantly having to push them.
By the way, if you're finding this breakdown useful, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive.
Yeah, definitely subscribe.
Because once you actually figure out that true ICP and GTM fit, the natural next step is, well, you try to scale it.
Right, you want to grow.
But expanding too fast or doing it in the wrong order, that's where the engine just blows up.
It's where the wheels come off. Especially with hiring. Dorina Radichuk noted that 51% of software startups hire sales first.
Yeah.
But David Turbitz argues you have to hire a GTM engineer before an SDR.
Oh, to build the infrastructure?
Yes. If you don't build the system first, the SDR has nothing to work with. Jack Daly says this is why the average VP of sales only lasts 18 months.
Oh, wow. 18 months.
Because CEOs just keep replacing them, which just masks a broken ICP.
So it's not just a talent problem, it's an infrastructure problem.
Exactly. And motion choice is huge here, too. Yuri Lorachev points out that median SaaS CAC payback is 16 months now.
Wait, 16 months?
Yeah. Product-led growth is about 8 months, but sales-led is 19 months. So your motion has to follow your average contract value and sales cycle. You can't just imitate someone else.
Especially founder-led pricing. Kyle Poyar says that breaks entirely after $5 million in ARR.
It completely breaks.
And expanding into new markets is dangerous. Alon even warns that if you expand into a new market before your current motion is repeatable, you're just running 2 broken motions at once.
You're doubling your problems.
Right. And Christina Pellegrini says if you give equal budget to multiple GTM motions, you literally have no strategy.
You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And you have to understand regional reality.
Oh, this is a great point. K-Dosu's example.
The peanut butter.
Yeah. A premium peanut butter failed in Nigeria because they misread the climate shelf life and the premium pricing.
They completely ignored the physical reality of the market. And when Nature Wariwarakorn points out a software version of this, APJ is 48 countries.
48 countries.
You can't just take a San Francisco quota and expect it to work in Tokyo.
Or Latin America.
Yeah.
Mesa D stresses that just translating a cadence to Spanish is not LATAM localization.
No, it's not.
And Tedger Thomas Burgess talks about vertical realities like federal deals. They're decided 12 to 18 months before solicitation is even posted.
Which means if you're waiting for the RFP, you're too late.
You already lost. Nicholas Yuchin argues that stalled growth like this, it's a constraint problem. It's not a sales problem. Adding activity just burns runway.
Right. Rob Young agrees. He says, fix the leaks before pouring more leads into the funnel.
Yeah. Jern Peterwright says that in IT services, naming an owner and a response SLA for top accounts actually beats spending €1 on new campaigns.
Just fixing the process.
Justin Gerard saw a 45% revenue lift on flat spend just from pre-launch cross-functional alignment.
Wow.
So it's like trying to bake more cookies by just shoving dough into a broken oven.
That is exactly what it is. And Mantrafiro's point really hits here too. Borrowed GTM plans import hidden assumptions that will break in your specific market.
Right, because you don't have their oven.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Adam Lee says this about K-12 territory planning. You need to look at TAM quality and buying propensity, not just raw student counts.
And Kirian Soriano adds that EdTech founders face two failures, product validation versus commercial capability.
Yeah, getting it built versus getting it bought. Jira Gilad notes only 9% of the 2022 Israeli cohort reached Series B.
9%.
Yeah. To survive, Patricia Bleicher says you have to tie execution to trends, but anchor your strategy in value creation fundamentals.
And Jeffrey Moore reminds us that pragmatist credibility requires disciplined sequencing. Press, analysts, partners, customers.
You can't skip steps.
But because human scaling is so hard and full of friction, everyone is now rushing to use AI to bypass these constraints.
Oh yeah, the AI gold rush.
But the data shows they're really just automating their own demise.
They're speeding up the mistakes. Praveen Shahi warns that automating GTM without auditing your ICP just scales your existing problems faster.
Right, you're just doing the wrong thing at lightning speed.
Oh.
Alex Vaca reveals that cold email reply rates are sitting at 3.43%.
Wow, that is low.
Because unsupervised AI is just burning sending domains. But signal triggered sends hold at 13%.
Because there's actual intent there.
Exactly. But finding true signaling is hard. Mateo Foix says generic signals like funding rounds are just noise.
Yeah, everyone reaches out when a company gets funding.
Right. You need industry-specific signals, like a staffing firm posting 10 sales roles.
That's a real signal. Andrew Riesenfeld adds that companies hiring for Gen AI skills is a massive buying signal for implementation demand.
Yeah, I think it was 1 in 13 with hiring surges.
Right. So Jean-Michel Van offers a 5-step framework to stack and qualify those warm engagement signals.
Stacking them, not just taking one.
Exactly. And John Avrancic shows how a 6-stage automated flywheel grew a company to $1.5 million in ARR with 0 paid ads.
0 paid ads. That's incredible. But we have to talk about agentic GTM.
Oh, agent washing.
Yeah. Jonathan MK notes that 40% of agentic AI projects will be canceled by 2027 because of agent washing.
Right.
True agents require context loop and graph engineering.
Yeah, Lawrence Neese explains that wikis only capture internal knowledge. Agents actually need a graph of outside world entities to function.
Outside context.
Exactly. And Lindsay Roethlisberger points out that AI makes all marketing sound exactly the same.
I've noticed that.
Right. So the true differentiator is a curated context layer of messaging and positioning.
Kerry Maka adds that an AI bot can transcribe a meeting perfectly, but you still need GTM discipline to interpret the buyer's actual decision pressure.
Because AI doesn't understand politics.
Right. Deepinder Singh Dhingra notes that GTM systems measure individual activity, but a deal is actually a buying group reaching agreement.
Yes.
David Cohen says slowing revenue often reflects poor visibility into existing opportunities, not a lack of new leads.
And Mike Carpenter says AI should be used to challenge leadership pattern recognition, not just replace experience.
Challenge the executives, not replace the SDRs.
Right. And this all wraps up into what data marketer calls revenue engineering.
Revenue engineering.
Revenue should be engineered as a design system of inputs, constraints, and throughput.
And things are speeding up. Ramsey Musa notes B2B purchase journeys dropped to under 12 weeks.
Wow.
And we're seeing AI agents actually firing vendors over API limits.
They're firing vendors autonomously.
Yeah. Dr. Petri Sasonio Salona notes that agentic products sell through pilots and architecture proof, not traditional demos.
And, well, if we're engineering our GTM systems to be fully autonomous and buyers are using agents to evaluate and fire vendors, how long until B2B sales is just our GTM AI negotiating with the buyer's procurement AI in milliseconds, completely bypassing human interaction?
That is a terrifying and fascinating thought to end on. If you enjoyed this episode, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on Field Marketing Channel and Partner Marketing, AI and B2B, MarTech, ABM, and social selling. Thank you so much for listening to this deep dive, and don't forget to subscribe.